This is by far one of the best musk fragrances I've ever tried. So let's review New Notes Musk Complexity. Hey, what's good guys? Hunter here and welcome back to the channel where I upload weekly fragrance content, so you know the drill. Hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any future videos and stay up to date with fragrances, and be sure to check me out over on my Instagram page. But today, in my hands is one of the best musks I've ever discovered, guys, from New Notes. And if you're not familiar with the house of New Notes, they are this niche brand that have a great selection of fragrances, some true bangers in their lineup. This is one of them, and a house that is absolutely worth diving into. Especially this one if you love those musky, animalic, dark, daring scents, because that's pretty much what this is. It reminds me of another fragrance that we'll talk about a little bit later on in the review. But first, I do want to shout out So Avant-Garde for sending Musk Complexity over for review. Of course, that's not going to change my opinions about this fragrance. If I enjoy it, I do, and if I don't, I don't. But So Avant-Garde is basically the distributor for New Notes into the United States. If you do want to check out anything from So Avant-Garde, whether it's New Notes or anything else from their website, use code HUNTER10. That's going to save you 10% off at checkout, so get those savings. So let's go to some information now. Musk Complexity release date is 2022, so this has been around for a few years now at the time of this recording, which is crazy because I don't really see many people talk about this fragrance, which I think they should. For the retail price on, I believe the only size this comes in, which is the 50 ml, is going to run you $235, but you can use my code HUNTER10. That will drop 10% off of that price. Well, it is pretty expensive, but at the end of the day, this is a niche brand and it's definitely at niche pricing. The concentration with this one, and just like all of the line from a New Notes, is an extrait de parfum, so you are getting the highest of perfume oils, which is always well appreciated. And that's also something I like about this house, is that they're all extraits and they definitely feel very dense. The perfumer behind a Musk Complexity is actually unknown. I tried to do some research, came up short, so I'm not sure who the nose was behind this. So if anybody watching this has that info, leave a comment down below because I'm very curious. Now, with all the information out of the way, let's get the packaging and presentation you get with New Notes Musk Complexity now. All right, take a look at the box, which I love their presentation with the boxes and bottle. It's very kind of edgy and outlandish. This one's no different. Kind of have this hologram with this door looking out to like the sky or something, which is very cool. On the back, of course, New Notes Extrait de Parfum, a Musk Complexity 50 ml. These are made in Italy. And then on the bottom, you will find your barcode and batch code to authenticate your product and see when it was produced. So all in all, absolutely stunning box presentation. Let's look at the bottle now. All right, take a look at the bottle, which does follow suit with the box. Has this kind of holographic kind of design on it, which I love. It is transparent. Obviously, Musk Complexity Extrait de Parfum. On the bottom, your sticker with your batch code. Nothing on the back. You do have New Notes engraved into the cap, which is a heavy plastic, as well as New Notes logo inside. But it does click into place very securely. All in all, beautiful bottle presentation. In the top, you have lemon, ginger, rum, bergamot, petitgrain, and red fruits. In the mid, you have chocolate flower, ladonum, cardamom, and jasmine. And in the base, you have cinnamon, musk, brown sugar, gaiac wood, animal notes, civet, patchouli, and sandalwood. And this will be classified as a sweet spicy. So let's spray this and test out these atomizers. Beautiful distribution on that atomizers, guys. It is pressurized, so you can spray a little bit or a ton, which I like to do. So let's go ahead and remind myself of this daring beast Musk Complexity now. So in the opening of this one, there's a ton going on, a bunch of mixture of notes. As you saw from the note breakdown, guys, it's very complex and daring. But in the opening, you are just gonna get this very bright, zesty lemon note. Ultra juicy lemon right away in the opening, probably the most dominant thing going on when you first apply it. Mixed together with this kind of zesty, uplifting ginger note that is a little bit spicy, so there is some spices going on in the opening mixed together with the lemon. But we can't forget about the rum, guys. It has a nice kind of boozy liqueur rum in the opening mixed together. So just think about having a drink with like a lemon, ginger, and rum mixed together. That's the opening you're going to get with Musk Complexity, guys. And actually that name, Complexity, is exactly what this is. Very, very complex. Now, as we start making our way into the mid, the top notes aren't really going anywhere anytime soon, which is great because the opening is excellent. But you are going to start to get introduced to this chocolate flower, which honestly, I've never seen chocolate flower used in any other fragrance. I don't even know if it's a real flower. I've never heard about it, but it is used in here and it kind of gives off this chocolatey floral vibe about it, which I think is very cool and unique because it is different. I don't know about you guys, but I love the smell of chocolate. So if this is a real flower, I'm gonna have to go out and look for it. Forget about roses, forget about carnations or anything like that. I want that chocolate flower. So very interesting mid with the chocolate flower that's very chocolatey. It's almost like this kind of dark chocolate mixed together with the boozy rum. You're still getting a little bit of that lemon and ginger too. And then finally, once we get to the base, which I think is the star of the show with Musk complexity, and of course where this name comes from, because you are going to get this very gourmand, spicy cinnamon note kind of mixed together with this sweet brown sugar. So it does have this little bit of sweetness from the cinnamon and brown sugar that you find in the base. And they probably add a little bit of sweetness because this stuff takes a dark turn, guys. It turns very musky. You're going to get this very animalic musk note that's kind of almost furry, to be honest. It almost has this like deer musk fur about it, combined together with the Civic, which even makes it darker in the base, guys. And of course, it's a synthetic Civic because Civic can't be used in fragrances anymore for like the last like decade or so or even longer. And it does have the animal notes, but I think the animal notes are just kind of like the Civic and Musk, to be honest. Unless there's some castoreum they got going on in here or ambergris or something like that, but I'm definitely picking up on the Civet and Musk for sure, guys. Mixed together with, of course, the sweet cinnamon and brown sugar, which just kind of had to be thrown in there in the mix because this would be an absolute animalic beast. So if you're somebody that likes those animalic, musky sort of fragrances, you have to check out Musk Complexity because this is going to be something, it's going to put a smile right on your face. And I've always been a fan of animalics ever since I kind of got into the game, to be honest with you. It is a base that kind of just like puts hair on your chest. It's very, very dark. Now, this does remind me of one other Musk fragrance on the market from a niche brand from Frederic Malle, which is Musk Ravageur. Probably my favorite fragrance from Frederic Malle as well, and it's iconic. So it's very similar to that. Of course, you also get the muskiness, the civet, the lemon, in Musk Ravageur. I think this one might be just a little bit boozier than Musk Ravageur. I don't know if there's any rum in that fragrance. I don't recall. So I would say this is like a boozier, chocolatey take on the Musk Ravageur kind of DNA. So if you're familiar with that and you enjoyed it, check this out. But if you tried Musk Ravageur and you're like, whoa, what the heck? I'll never wear anything like that. You're probably not going to be enjoying this one either. So I know when I reviewed Musk Ravageur, it had that same kind of animalic, fuzzy, kind of furry musk about it, which you find in this one. But it's just so good, guys. The kind of fragrance you want to wear if you're just like wearing a nice fur coat. It kind of gives off that scent. So for the best seasons to rock Musk Complexity, I almost said Musk Ravageur for a second, but the best seasons is going to be spring, fall, and winter, hands down, because obviously you can wear it in the springtime. It does have that nice kind of bright, uplifting opening from the lemon and ginger, but that does fade away and it turns a very dark, which obviously suits like the colder months as this fall and winter, hands down. It's gonna be beautiful in the colder weather, in the kind of fragrance that might even keep you warm, to be honest, because when you wear this one, it's almost like you have like this personal furry coat on you. And for occasion, I think this is more on the formal side of things rather than casual, even though it could be pulled off as casual. I just think it might be a little bit too challenging and daring of a fragrance to just wear every day if you're running errands, going to the grocery store, going shopping, things of that nature. It does give me a little bit more dressed up vibes for certain kind of unique situations, which I don't know if you even can find a situation you want to smell like a musky animalic fragrance. I'm sure we can come up with something. Like I said, it's the kind of fragrance you want to wear if you're just wearing this kind of mean coat. You got this furry long coat on you in the colder weather, preferably when it's snowing outside. If you're somewhere where it snows often in the colder climate, maybe going to a dinner, a fancy dinner, something along those lines is the best situation. Or maybe even going to like a log cabin, somewhere in the woods, in a cabin when it's snowing outside, you're by the fireplace. That's the vibe I would probably wear this one the best in. Yeah, when I smell this fragrance, it definitely gives off that cold winter furry coat vibe, just chilling in a log cabin somewhere, which I don't know about you, but that sounds excellent. Then for gender, I do think this one could be pulled off as a unisex, even though it is unisex leaning masculine. But as we know, Musk Ravageur is kind of similar to Guerlain Shalimar, which is a woman's fragrance. It also has that kind of lemony, animalic civet vibe about it too, which this does. So it is unisex, leaning masculine at the end of the day is how I would categorize this one as. Because when I smell this one, I don't personally think I would want my girl to smell boozy, animalic, and musky. But hey, there's some ladies out there that actually like smelling like that, so you do you. I just prefer my girls to smell pretty and leave the musky fragrances to me. So wrapping the review off, talking on the performance you should expect to get from Musk Complexity if you do pick up a bottle of this one. So I do honestly have high expectations from Extrait de Parfums, which this one is. Unfortunately, it didn't live completely up to that expectation, which doesn't mean it was necessarily bad, because on my skin, I got upwards to that 10-hour mark, which is very solid for the majority of fragrances, but I usually expect my extraits to perform at least 12 hours on skin. But if you want to spray on your clothes, you can do that, because you will definitely get over that 12-hour mark, but on skin, it's going to be upwards to that 10-hour mark, and that might even be pushing it slightly. But still lasts all day long. There's no complaints with the longevity. With the projection though, it was pretty moderate, which I'm not complaining about, because this isn't something you're going to want to be a loud projector, because you're going to scare some people away that you're around. So you're going to want it to sit a little bit closer to the skin, which this one does. People will still detect it though if they are like in an arm's length reach and your kind of scent bubble around you. Just not something that's going to fill up an entire room per se, which is great, because like I said, this is this kind of cozy, fuzzy, warm vibe about this fragrance. When you're wearing a coat by the fireplace and you're with somebody, you want them to come a little bit closer. That's the vibe that suits this the absolute best, not a projection beast. Unless maybe you overspray it, then yeah, it could possibly become pretty cloying and pretty strong. Honestly, that's coming from me, guys. I don't even recommend to do that with this particular fragrance. You might get in some trouble if I'm being honest. But that's gonna do it for the review of New Notes Musk Complexity. Let me know down below if you guys have dived into this house yet, if you tried anything from him, and what are your favorites. Also, let's have a discussion down below. Let me know some of your favorite musky fragrances out there, because I'm a big fan of musk and I'm always looking for new ones. Besides that, leave a like, subscribe below if you guys haven't already, and you already know I'll see all of you back here in my next upload. Take care, everybody.